I want to talk to you about going from Boaz to Boaz. As I was reading Ruth, and we got into chapter 2, I felt like God was really impressing that upon me, this character Boaz. He's quite a character. And I started thinking about what it looked like for him to grow into the man that he became, the man that met Ruth and ended up marrying Ruth and ended up in the genealogy of Jesus. And I thought about just some ordinary things, because we often think about extraordinary things when it comes from a boy going from boyhood to manhood. And in a lot of ways, Boaz was quite ordinary. I mean, he was a relative of Elimelech. He seems to be a very faithful guy, seemed to have quite an ordinary walk with God. He comes on the scene in the workplace and says, "The Lord be with you," and his workers say, "The Lord bless you." He seems to be a conscientious observer of the law of God and a believer. And I think some of the things that stand out to me, though, is that he was just that. He was a conscientious man. And that's something that we need a lot more of, just a lot more conscientious men. I think something else that stands out about Boaz is that, is full of drama as family can be. He stayed faithful as a family man. And he was that. He was a relative. He was a faithful relative as well. I like the fact that Boaz had a heart to protect women. Obviously, we live in a day where women are objectified. We live in a day where women are used. And we live in a day, unfortunately, where women are complicit in this. They go along with this, especially some of them who want to get paid. It's sad to see very talented and gifted women selling out to the most base motives and needs of man just to exist. Well, Boaz seems to have a real appreciation for women. He desires to protect Ruth, and we should do that. One of the things that struck me is it seems like Boaz captured all his manhood and he harnessed it to protect and provide for Ruth. I'd like to see a resurgence of that, of men harnessing their manhood and harnessing it for the purposes of God, and as it respects women, to see them loved, to see them protected. And I told our men as we recited a poem that I wrote called "Boys to Boaz," which you can get on our website at Freedom Church and at supermenscrystals.com. We need to do this. We need to take all these faculties of manhood and we need to start harnessing them and using them for the purposes that God has given to us. We don't need to diminish them. We don't need to exaggerate them. We need to use them for those purposes. So we got a lot of work to do as men. We got a lot of growth to do. And we're never going to get from Boaz to Boaz, I think, unless you're connected to the true and the living God. I don't think you can go from Boaz to Boaz unless you're with a group of other men who are seeking and going on that trajectory. I think that you're going to have to be honest. I think that a lot of us men need to heal before we can be heroes. Too many of us are trying to be heroes and we're just broken. And we feel like counseling's for women and you don't want to be weak, and we've been told all of our lives when we fall down, suck it up and don't cry. We need more crying men. We need more men who can cry and empathize. Jesus cried. I ain't never met a man more manly than Jesus. So I think we're going to need to heal as men. We're going to have to deal with our psychology because it's jacked up. And God gave us a Bible, He gave us a spirit, He gave us a community of people who love Him to help us to excavate all of the skeletons in our psychological graves and bring them out and examine them and deal with them with the gospel so that we can become healthy men. We can be Boazes. I'd love to see a generation of Boazes. And I am concerned. I know they're out there, but I wish I could see a lot more. I've got 3 daughters, and I'd love to have 3 Boazes come alongside and marry them. That's a big passion of mine. I know what I'm about to say is going to seem entirely contradictory of all I said on Sunday's message to the women, but I think it's true. God made a man first, and then he made a woman. By doing so, he didn't say that the woman was less. But God, throughout redemptive history, has held men accountable for his kingdom, for oppression, for sin, and for righteousness and the extension of righteousness on the earth. And I'm not going to be one who bails out on that. So I'd like to say to all of us men, it's our time to act like men and to be the men God's called us to be. And if there are hindrances in our way that it's keeping us boys and keeping us from becoming Boazes, then we need to deal with that. Last thing I want to tell you is that Boaz was a beast, but Jesus is a better Boaz in every way. And so I commend Jesus to you. Peace and blessings.